Hi, my name is Ricardo Jackson, CEO of Campbell Health Solutions. I just wanted to hop in here before the show begins to let you know about our Tuesday late night clinic. Basically, it's every Tuesday from 5 to 9 p.m. by appointment only. We do HIV testing, primary care, wellness checks, STD screening, and treatment. So just give us a call at 561-208-6595 to schedule your appointment.
Well, hello and good evening. Welcome to Positively Positive, and I am your host, Susan Mintz. We have an exceptionally wonderful show tonight, a returning favorite from last year. But for the new people, oh my heavens, we've had so many new people who have found out about this program. I want to tell you a little bit about it. We are the only, not just streaming show, but we are the only program exclusively dedicated to all things HIV and AIDS, from community to work, professional work, whether it's your nursing, whether it's you're involved because you are a long-term survivor, newly diagnosed, medications, any aspect, all over the country, people have called in and have wanted to be on the show. Because it's any aspect. Just as I said, it could be your organization, it could be your community involvement, it could be your personal involvement, as with mine, with the loss of my husband. It can just be because you know that there's the stigma still attached, there's mental health issues attached. Get tested, know your status, get on medications early. We have such great advice from really great people that have been on this show for the past year and a half. And their information isn't just Palm Beach County where I am. It's South Florida. It's the state of Florida. It's the country. Because HIV doesn't care. If you let it in, it'll come in. And there's no cure. Though the drug companies are doing great, and thank God for meds. But just in general, there is no vaccine and there is no cure. So as of now, you have to be very proactive. And we want to remove the stigma. And we are doing that. One show at a time, one story at a time. So, I knew something was missing. Where's my glasses? Oh, isn't that terrible? Wait, well, they're on my lap. Oh, I'm not doing the whole thing over again. Oh, there she is. Oh, hello and welcome and good evening to Positively Positive. Yay, there I am. Now, I just put them on, but I'm going to take them off. We are the only show dedicated exclusively to HIV and AIDS. So if you have a story, we want you on. If you're involved, we want you on. And we are doing what we are called to do. Talk about HIV and give you information and resources and tell you the right information. Lord knows there's tons of information that's rolling out there. Even when it comes to HIV, we want to remove the stigma. We want to show you the faces of people who are involved. We care. At Campbell Health Solutions, Susan Mintz, Ricardo Jackson, we care. And that's who we are. We are positively positive, telling the truth by story to story to story with incredible people. Tonight's guest has come a very long way in the last year. A community activist, a very smart lady who I've known for a couple of years now at different meetings, and someone who has taken it on not just personally, but she knows there's the need to talk about it. There's the need to show up. There's the need to not hide. And she has been a real trooper and some light in the darkness. She's wonderful. So now, I knew there was something wrong. Now, exciting. It's time to introduce my guest. And I'm going to say, Rosie, Hayes, you come on in.
Hello, Susan. Hello,
Hi,
positive, be positive.
hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Oh, good to be seen. Good to be
Yeah,
on the show, indeed.
yeah, we're doing really well. Rosie, there's so many new people this year who are just tuning in. Um, Tell me a little bit about your background, why you're involved, and then we'll get into your organizations and the different things you do. But why has HIV become a part of your life that you personally have wanted to see to help people with?
Well, Susan, nearly 3 decades ago,
Speak up, honey, just a little bit. Speak up.
nearly 3 decades ago, I myself was diagnosed with HIV. So I bleed this cause. This is what caused me to get involved because I am who I serve. Very passionate, very dedicated to my community, understanding the need for sexual health literacy, understanding the need for liberation, and understanding the need to be accepted, to live longer, stronger, healthier lives, and also understanding the need to end HIV. This is
So
why.
what I'm going to say though is just speak up if you can, as loud as you can, just so we really can hear you.
Okay.
That was
Can you
perfect.
hear me? Can
Yeah,
you
that
hear me
just
good
yeah.
now?
I don't think guests can ever be loud enough for us because we really want to have a good feed. But
Okay.
you were diagnosed 20 years ago.
Yes, 27, almost 3 decades now. Yeah, 27 years ago.
Do you know how you contracted it?
Yes, I acquired the virus through heterosexual sex. I was in the sex for sale trade, being that I was also addicted to drugs. And that's how I lived my life. I sold sex, I did sex work. And I contracted the virus as a result of heterosexual sex with a man who was a IUD user, who was a user, a drug user.
So you were involved with drugs. You were involved with the sex trade or sex involved, and you were with a heterosexual man, but you were more of in the sex work.
Yes.
And how'd you get out? And how'd you find out you were positive, though? What happened?
Well, it was all, my story is truly a story of faith. Uh, Susan, um, I found out that I was HIV positive as a result of getting clean. Um, I had entered into a Christian rehab, and after entering into that Christian rehab, I was starting to do the things that I had not done for so long because of active addiction, like get my health checkups and do the things that you're supposed to do. And because I knew that I was high risk, I was having sex unprotected in the sex for sale trade and high risk having sex unprotected. I just knew that it was time for me to go start getting checkups. And that's what I did. I went and I went and had an HIV test. And I knew I was positive because I had a dream. I had a dream about being positive. And when I got
What was your drugs of choice
my
when you're
drug of
involved
choice
with
was
drugs?
crack.
What were your
My
drugs of
drug of
choice?
my drug of choice was crack cocaine.
Well, that's big. That worked.
Yes.
But
And
you
so,
got out of that. And again, nice and loud to tell our viewers, how did you get out of this being in a sex trade, on drugs, all that? How did you get out and become exactly who you are today? Because that's the phenomenal part of your story.
Faith in God is how I got out. Faith in God is how I got out. It was a supernatural act of God that I went into a Christian rehab. And from there, my life began to change. My life began to just be transformed within a year. After getting the diagnosis, I started speaking, sharing my story. I was in ministry full time at this particular time. I was one of the first people to have a HIV education support group at the church by which I attended and served. And I've been doing this ever since. I started
So
using
your
my voice.
faith, your your faith was what? Did God speak to you in a dream or speak to you at some point and tell you to stop this and change your pace? Change?
Yes, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
How did he speak to you?
He spoke to me in a dream. I had a dream about being HIV positive, and I also had a dream about preaching the gospel. And I had the dream was letting me know that the HIV virus was in my body. In the dream, God told me, says, the HIV virus is in your body, but you shall not die but live, and you shall declare the glorious works of my word. And that's what I did. When I went and was tested, I already knew that the virus was within me because of the dream. I only went to confirm what I heard and what I perceived in the dream.
And where
And
was
so,
this, Rosie? I mean, I know you're in Palm Beach County
I'm
now,
from
but
Detroit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm a
Detroit.
resident of Florida now. So this was in Detroit, Michigan.
And so you came, how did you get into, I mean, I know you recently got a big degree, but how did you get started then from the beginning with your bachelor's, and I'm so fascinated how people do get out and where their path takes them. Did you want to get into education, or were you involved? How did the educational, we know the spiritual wellness part is there because God told you to get out of what you were doing, get tested and get healthy. And that was a big change. When did you come to Palm Beach County and start a new life, let's say?
Well, I came to Palm Beach County, myself and my husband and children. We came here in 2014, and we've been here ever since. But concerning the education that you were talking about, my education is my life. I did not get a degree from schooling, going to school. I got an honorary doctorate degree in humanitarianism for my 30 years of service in the community, which is a great honor for me. Um, people have been following me, seeing the work and the advocating I was doing in the community and the service I was doing in the community, sharing my story, speaking in churches and rehabs and drug centers, and assisting people who were diagnosed and even newly diagnosed with HIV. And I received my honorary doctorate in humanitarianism.
That's wonderful. Now, you do live, though, in Palm Beach County. You said you have a husband and children?
Yes, I do. I have a wonderful husband. We are a discordant couple, meaning I'm positive, my husband is not. And we've had children since I was diagnosed. He married me knowing that I was positive. That in itself was a miracle, because when I was diagnosed, people were dying very painful, lonely deaths. It was an act of faith for him to marry me knowing that I was HIV positive. But he told me, he says, I fear God more than I fear AIDS. And you're my wife, and this is what we're going to do. So we did it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we did it.
That's
And we
great.
also
And your
had
children?
children. Yes.
Are your
3.
children advocates? Are your children also advocates for testing and for being involved and are they proud of mommy?
Yes, very much so. They grew up in the community. I took them everywhere that I went. We went to different retreats. They were like the poster children. Their children were their friends were always at my house. They could educate their friends just off the back of their hand because of the things that I taught them and the things that they heard me say and going traveling with me. So
How
yes, they
old
are
are they? How old
they're
are your
grown
children?
now. They're grown now, 26, 23, and 22.
But okay, so you're involved though with the Positive People Network, correct? Out of Miami?
Correct.
Yeah, they're very active also. I want to get them on this program. So I'm going to ask you to line that up because you're involved with them and we'll show their information on the screen if they want to contact
Oh
Alicia.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh yes.
and so
Positive People Network.
do you work a formal job with the health department?
Yes, I was a peer navigator for the Florida Department of Health on 45th Street. I served in that department, in that capacity for 3 years before I was, I guess you could say, someone came and found me from Can Community, and they had heard about the work I was doing, and I then went to work for Can Community Health in Miami, and I stayed with them 4 years until I retired.
And what do you do now here in Palm Beach County? You're involved with the HIV Care Council,
Yes,
but
I'm with
where do you
the
work
HIV
here?
Care Council. I'm also the director of spiritual wellness with Positive People Network Inc. We are a organization for people who live positive. We are a social organization, letting people know that there's life after death, teaching them social skills, how to navigate through being positive. And this is what I serve. This is what I do. Um, I'm also an educator, a speakers bureau trainer. I train our STS women at Positive People Network, which is Stop the Silence. We were the recipient of the VEEV grant for Risk to Reasons, and we did a pilot.
Okay, keep
We're
speaking. There
in
you
our
go. You're
third
back.
year.
Nice and
We're in
loud.
our third year of the pilot program, Stop the Silence, where we're training up Black
Oh, that's
cisgender
great.
women that have that are positive to use their voice as advocates. Yes.
Do you think that it's almost like starting over? Because I've been involved since the 80s. And after I lost Jeff, I knew that God wanted this to be my ministry completely, entirely with the books, with my life, with everything. And so what I want to know is, though, do you feel like it's almost like the starting over with a groundswell of new people and shows like this, Positive People Network, and people around the country who are beginning to do the act up again like they used to?
Yes. Well, for me, not starting over, not for me, because I've gone from Detroit. We lived in Mississippi. I did advocate in Mississippi. Now here in Florida, it's not like starting over. It's a capacity building. For me, it's expansion. I get a chance to expand my
Right.
knowledge, my expertise in other regions. I've been fortunate to be able to meet a lot of people in different regions, same situation, but just different regions. And I'm really blessed to be working in Miami, the epicenter, with the community of HIV, the HIV community there. As you know, Miami is known to be the epicenter. So it hasn't been starting over. It's just
No.
been capacity building and expanding.
Yeah, I think it's just beginning to go. I think there's new people with new
Yes.
energy they're bringing to it.
Yes.
And there is let's just say not starting over, but a revitalization.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I didn't understand what you said when you worked for the health. What are you doing with the health department again? Say that again for me.
Well, I worked at the health department. I no longer work at the health department. I was a peer navigator at the health department.
Oh, okay. But you're not
Yes.
with them anymore.
No, I'm not with them anymore.
But you're with
But
the care
I'm with the Care
council.
Council of Palm Beach County. Yes, I am.
You have, yeah, the HIV care, very active organization. We're really lucky. We're really blessed in
Oh,
Palm
yes.
Beach County. I think in South Florida, we have a really good group of people from all over South Florida that are very active. I think we're,
Yes.
as much as we're the epicenter for HIV, I think that we are also the epicenter for a groundswell of a movement that is wonderful. And
I also agree.
the care council, of course, is a part of it. But so did you meet your husband in Detroit?
Yeah, I lived in Detroit. My husband lived in Gary, Indiana when I met him. We got married and he moved. I moved to Gary, Indiana with him.
Did you
That's how
meet
I
him in
got to Gary, Indiana.
how did you meet him?
I met my husband through ministry. I was in full-time ministry, and we had met a time before. He was a very dear friend to my cousin's fiance, and that's how I met him the first time. And we reconnected after I had been converted, and I was in ministry. My cousin had died, and he was the singer at my cousin's funeral, and so that's how we reconnected.
So
And,
your first husband passed away, and this was a man from your church?
No, Susan, I've never been married before. This is my first and only husband. Kenneth is my first and only husband. I said my cousin passed.
Oh, your
Kenneth
cousin.
knew. Yeah,
Your cousin.
that's how I met my husband, through my cousin. He passed.
Okay, because I knew there was a connection somewhere that it was very, very oriented in faith, and I couldn't remember who it was, but it was your cousin who passed away, and then you met the man who was the singer.
Yes, my husband, who was my cousin's dear friend.
Isn't God amazing? God is so amazing.
Yes.
Now, anyway, are you on any specific medication? And talk to me about the meds that you know people are on and what you suggest. But what are you on?
Biktarvy. I've been on Biktarvy now for the last 8 years, and it's working. I'm undetectable, untransmittable. So, yes. I'm also looking into injectables, still doing some research, still kind of like waiting. I know a few of my friends and colleagues that are on it now, and they're doing well. I'm just waiting, taking my time. The pill right now is working for me, so I have options.
I mean, 27 years, you're HIV positive, you're healthy, undetectable. You're taking one little pill a day. You get tested regularly, though. You get checked as far as your labs. How often do you have your labs done?
Yes, I have my labs done every 3 months, 3 to 6 months.
6 months or 3 months?
3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So within 3 or 6 months, I'm gonna have my labs done.
And tell me about for people who have had bad experiences with doctors. We've had a few guests on who they didn't feel, especially women, and they didn't feel well, and their doctor or whoever they were using told them that it was menopause, that it was stress, that it was they didn't have a good relationship. How important is it to find a doctor who will listen, even if they're not an infectious disease doctor, but someone who will really go in, a good doctor? How important
it is vitally essential to your health, mental and physical health. For me, nobody can champion my cause better than me. I'm going to always have a doctor that's going to hear me, because I'm going to come to my doctor after I've done my own research and say, listen, this is what I found out. This is what tell me what you think about this. This is what I'm seeing. I believe this will work for me. What type of studies do you have? I'm an advocate, and the first advocate I am is for me. That's how I can be the advocate that I am today, because I'm my own champion. No one can champion my cause better than me. I said, I bleed this cause. Doctors, I respect them and their scientific study and skill, but this virus lives within me. I bleed this cause. So it's going to be very important that the doctor that is treating me has an ear to listen to me, or you won't be my doctor.
So you would suggest that if anybody is feeling a little compromised, if anybody is having unsafe sex, if anybody is not handling their sexual life effectively, that they must be proactive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you knowingly are practicing sexually active without protection, then it's very important that you know your status, that you get tested and know your status for your own self. And because there is a lot going on here. HIV is 100% preventable today. There is no reason that there should be any new cases with the scientific advancements. You can take a pill now, PrEP, and it's 99% effective in not
transmission.
You're not contracting the virus. It's more than just a condom now. There's education everywhere. What is the problem is stigma. That's what we have to deal with. Dismantling stigma. See, fear always want to beat you up, bully you, and take your lunch money. We need some people that's bold and courageous, that will not let stigma punk them out. For me, I'm a stigma dismantler. I was in the streets for a long time. So having HIV, I didn't care about what people thought about me. I was already known as the crackhead. Okay, I already had the stigma of the crackhead on me. I've never experienced bad stigma from being HIV positive. However, I did experience a whole lot of bad stigma when I was on crack. Okay. But nevertheless, it's very important that you take control of your own sexual health. Sexual health literacy is real health, and it starts with a conversation. It simply better health can start with just a conversation. Get tested, know your status. If you're not feeling well, if you go to the doctor, because me and my personal story as well, living with HIV for many decades, I also we deal with comorbidities, where I'm also a breast cancer survivor. This was another big hit to my health that came, and I was able to get early detection. I was able to find out early. Even with HIV, I found out early. My counts were still very good. My immune system was not damaged as many others were. I did not have an AIDS diagnosis. My immune system was still in very good condition. But early detection is very important, and you get early detection by being on top of it. I was detected with breast cancer. It was early detection, stage 1, because I took care of my annuals. I took care of my eyes, my teeth, my breast exams, all the things that's for wellness. I go to the doctor and I check on my body and I take care of my temple, because I don't want anything to sneak up on me. I don't want anything, especially if it doesn't have to.
But Rosie, don't you think, though, that African American women also are at a higher risk for a lot of reasons, whether they don't have time, whether they think it can't happen to them, whether they don't have insurance. I mean, I know that, for instance, I think that a lot of African American women contract HIV, and it's a shame because they just don't have the resources to be able to, or the education or the awareness. So speaking to the African American and the marginalized community is so important, because
Yes.
they are contracting HIV at a higher rate than, let's say, someone like myself.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is true. But we can't, we can no longer victimize. The word victim is when you victimize yourself. You know, we cannot. I'm no one's victim. Even all that I've been through, I am not a victim. I was a living sacrifice. I went through everything that I had to go through so that I can help you get through it. So I don't take it as a victim. I learned so much from it. So there is education. We as Black women, we have to educate ourselves. Like I said, no one can champion our cause like us. We must be first. We nurture everybody else. What about you? What about you? You nurture everyone else. You nurture your children, your husband. You nurture, you work jobs. You take care of everything else. You nurture everything, and we forget about ourselves.
Right.
We must make ourselves a priority, or you will victimize yourself. You can't blame it on anyone else. You will victimize your own self if you do not prioritize.
That's why this show works, because we tell stories. Not everybody is with an organization or with the LGBTQ community, but someone like yourself, you come from Detroit, you're in the sex trade, you're in the sex industry, you become HIV positive, you meet a wonderful man after you're proactive with your health, you deal with your life effectively, you don't let HIV define you. You got over the crack. You got over everything. You're a breast cancer survivor. If people tune into a show like this, if it doesn't make their hair want to stand up and be on fire to get there, that's why this show works, because I want stories. We want people to be highlighted. Look what you have overcome. I mean, for me to tell that to Detroit, and then she's HIV positive, she's in the sex trade, she was on that crack, and then she finds out she's positive. She meets a wonderful man who accepts her the way she is. She moves here. She's involved in the community. She's 30 years, gets an honorary doctorate for her community work. I mean, how do you wrap your head around anything like this, except you're a real person? You're flesh and blood and
blood.
But
humanity.
Yes. Faith, your faith.
Life
That's
happens.
it.
Not only was I able to acquire an honorary doctorate, I was chosen for the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I co-authored my first book with an anthology of 5 other women. There is life after diagnosis. Live it. Diagnosis, if you are diagnosed, you do not have to die there. Your life does not stop. When I was diagnosed, man, it was hard. Today, we get shots in our butt twice, 3 times, 4 times a year. Where before, when I first got diagnosed, I was taking 10 pills, big horse pills. Barely even, we were so messed up with the side effects of the pills. It's not the same age. No. We're in a new age. Like I said, HIV is 100% preventable. It's no longer a death sentence. It's a chronic condition, such as diabetes. It's a chronic condition. It's no longer a death sentence. You can live healthy.
But it is preventable. That's what people don't understand. You can't prevent cancer. You can't prevent diabetes. You can't prevent Alzheimer's. You can't prevent a lot, but you can prevent an STD. You can prevent an STI. And HIV is 100% preventable, except younger people who've never experienced people around them with it, seniors who are promiscuous, who don't think they can contract it. There's some groups that are on the rise with STDs and STIs, and we know that for a fact.
Yes. My children, we did
because when you have bad behaviors and someone to help you out, you're done. Or when you're doing your drugs, it's a different world.
Yeah, my daughter shared that when she was sharing on one of our podcasts. She says, she says, we don't get a chance to see people. She's 23 that looks like that's our age, that look like us, that's willing to open up about their status. She said that she knows that there are people her age, but who's willing to get on the mic, open up and say, hey, this is okay. And then she says another thing is that the drugs that's being used are highly sexual drugs. They're using drugs that make them highly sexual. You know what I'm saying? And so they're just like me. I was on drugs. I use sex to get the drugs. They're using sex now, you know what I'm saying? Because the drugs are so highly sensual. Yeah,
you're invincible.
So euphoric until, when they use them, hey, they just want to lay down and just have a good time. So that's what's happening now with the next generation. They're highly sexual beings, and even the more, because they're highly sexual and using highly sensual sexual drugs, even the more they should know how to equip themselves and keep themselves healthy and safe.
Well, even having grown up in the 60s and the 70s, it didn't matter. I mean, I was always high, smoking pot and always drinking. I mean, all of that. It's just I was able to. My late husband, whom I adore, he's the one that was a bisexual, and I just knew early on in my marriage, so I was able to make choices as we went along. But I know that when I was high, when we were partying, you don't think about it, especially if you're 17, 18, 16.
18, yeah.
You don't think about, you're invincible. You got your whole life ahead of you. But it's a different world today. We didn't have social media. We didn't have peer pressure. We didn't have any of that. We just smoked, we drank, got high, we had a good time. You got some STDs, but you didn't have what you have today.
Right.
The drugs that they have today are a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, you talk a lot about, though, empowerment. How important is it to empower women and men because mental health is a part of it also. When you have low self-esteem and you don't feel worthy of yourself and respected, how important is this to be around people that'll support you, or get into a body of, a faith-based facility or a support group? Because isn't self-worth, self-esteem, and empowerment a big part of this?
Absolutely, Susan. Yes, I also believe that in part, if you don't have a healthy mind, anything is subject to happen because you're just open and so vulnerable. And I believe that when so many things are happening today. So many people are medicated. Things are happening in the home, traumas. People are being abused, molested in the home and keeping it quiet. Right. And their only way to escape is drugs and to find love somewhere totally different from where they thought they were supposed to ascertain it, and they're being betrayed by it in their own home. So things are happening, and youngsters are making some real bad decisions as a result of the impacts of what they're going through. They're not thinking clearly.
No.
They're not thinking. So mental health is a big issue, particularly now. It's almost like the mental health appears to be the next pandemic.
That's the crisis. Like I think mental health to me is the big crisis. I think because people don't talk about it, and what is the state? You have one life to live. You have one chance to do yourself right. What is the big deal about saying, I get depressed? If you don't like me the way I am, Big deal. There's people who will love you no matter who you are and what
Yes.
you do on this journey.
On this journey.
People have to
That's
really,
why
it's a
it's so
journey in life.
important. Yes, and that's why for me it's so important. I have faith and I have a therapist. I have Jesus. There is no indictment against my faith because I have a therapist. There's a whole lot going on in this world. With when COVID hit, I just see that there's just such a strong spirit of grief over the nation. People lost their
Right.
loved ones. Some whole families were wiped
Yeah.
out, Susan. People are losing their homes, their jobs, just loss, just grief over the nation.
Yeah.
How do
There's
you
a,
handle?
yeah, it's, you
How
have
do
to
you
really
handle that?
motivate. You have to
Yes,
motivate yourself in a way, because if not, there's so much social media, there's so much media, there's so much of a cloud that hangs over this country and other countries, that if you don't hang out with people who are going to support you, love you, even
yes,
if it's not care about you, it won't work in today's world. Things are happening quicker than we can process.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So mental health is very, very important. Um, and self-care and is faith is so important, because you see with the present conditions um, over America, with services being cut out, what are people going to do when they have dependent when they have been dependent upon services for so long, and just suddenly they're being cut off, and people are losing hope. They're like, what are we going to do? They're moving around in fear. But I'll tell you something. I know that there is a God, and he is faithful, and he will not fail. May you find him now. May you find him now. I'll tell you that. And it's just so important that we have faith, and that we just faith in God, faith in a higher power, faith in something greater than ourselves, Susan. I'm
So
so happy to know that there is a God and I'm not him, that I
yeah,
can depend on a higher
yeah.
power.
So
Yeah.
you're involved with the care, you're married, you have a couple of grown children, you're involved with the HIV Care Council of Palm Beach County and the Positive People Network, and they're out of Miami, Alicia
Yes.
Trammell, and
Alicia Tramiel McIntyre, Gina, and
that's good.
yes, we're all board members. Well, Alicia's the founder. Gina is our co co-president, and I am the director of spiritual wellness. Michelle is over our um, transparent. And so, with that, we are a working board, meaning we are who we serve. Every one of us on the board, we are positive. We are
Oh,
a grassroots organization. We are who we serve.
all right. Say that again for me. Say that again for me,
We are
Rosie.
a grassroots organization. We are who we serve. Every one of our board members are positive.
Mhm. That was
We
an
are a
amazing,
working board.
yeah, that was an amazing 24-hour marathon.
Oh yeah, we had a good time, Susan. We enjoyed you.
See, that's why I want people on who are doing things, who have want to, even though your interview may not air until June or July
Yes,
after an event, we want people to know what people are doing, because it gives people ideas.
yes.
This show still goes out all over the country.
Oh yes,
And
yes
therefore,
indeed.
something like that 24-hour marathon of talking about HIV from that personal level, that was a phenomenal event. I'd never heard of anything like that. So that's why I want them on to talk about innovative ideas, or to have friends of yours on who can talk about new ways to incorporate, new ways to get people involved, new ways to get HIV testing and everything across by people like you who are doing it. So it's really important
Yes.
that you share, and you get some other people on the
We'll
program
get some
who are
more
doing.
people on for you, Susan. We'll get some more interviews, because we have a host of people now. They're in Miami, but we have a host of people. I can send you a host of people that can share powerful voices that are doing
Yes.
great works in Florida,
And share.
Southern Florida,
And share ideas, because it's
Yes.
not just what's happening here. It's
Yes.
what's happening all over the country. And an idea you share. I mean, here you were on crack. You were in that. Well, I mean, a story like yours still goes out to hundreds of people around the country.
Yes.
So they don't have to give up hope. They can get off drugs. They can get early intervention. They can find out and be more proactive in their health. What you said in this show goes out all over and can help people. But your
Yes.
faith was what sustained you through it all, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. It's my faith in God. Yes, indeed. I tell you, I don't know where I'd be. Oh, I wouldn't be able to speak in sentences, Susan. I've been through a whole lot. For me to be able to look like this, speak like this, do the work, serve people, that's nothing but an act of God. That's a miracle in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a miracle. And
Yeah.
as far as your breast cancer diagnosis, when was that?
2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Yeah. And even in that, God was with me. It was my faith. I did have to have the left breast mastectomy, but once the breast was removed, the cancer had not spread. They got the cancer in the breast, and I didn't have to have radiation, nor did I have to have chemo, by the grace of God. So I thank God for that. That there, another act of faith and a miracle from God. That was a blessing. Yes.
Yeah. When I saw you the other day, I just, so many things now that you'd say. I can remember the first time I interviewed you. That's
Yes.
I remember, because I have some guests that are brand new and some guests that I want back every year because the stories are so powerful. And that's what this show's been able to do. So I want to say,
thank you so much for having me, Susan. I love Richardo. I love Campbell Health Solutions. I love you all. You all are doing a great work. Keep up the good work. And together, we're stronger together. And together, we shall see the end.
Well, I want
we
to
are in it to
thank
end it.
my guest, Rosie Hayes. And she's on the board of Positive People Network, and you can check them out. And Rosie, I'll see you again. And I want to thank our listeners and our viewers for your support. And I'm Susan Mintz of Positively Positive, and I'm always going to be committed to love.
Yes.
And to you too, my darling.
All right. Take care.
I will. You got